right, why don't we start off with you stating your name and what branch of the military you served in?
Leslie L. Thompson. I served in the 961 Medical Hospital Platoon in the Army.
Can you tell me a little bit of what you did before the war?
Before the war, I was a farmer.
How did you enlist or were you drafted?
I was drafted.
Tell me a little bit about your basic training.
My basic training was in Campbell, California. It was rough. It was rough.
What was your role? What was your role in your unit?
My unit, I was a medical technician. I took care of wounded. Brought them back into the States from the islands in the South Pacific.
What did a typical day look like for you?
Just doing my job, what I was asked to do.
Do you remember any specific stories of bringing in people back to the States after they were wounded?
Well, there's about all the same things, just making beds, doing bedpans, what a nurse would do.
When were you deployed overseas?
I went overseas 5 times to islands to pick up patients and stuff.
Were you ever under enemy fire?
Yes. When I was in the invasion of the Philippines, and it was another rough time. That's where I've really done a lot of taking care of wounded and stuff in there. My first patient that I was taking care of, his eyeballs was laying right here. There's more of that, please. Oh, God darn. Oh. God help him, please. Oh.
So you said that, that happened in the, invasion of the Philippines. I also see that you were part of the invasion of, is it Luzon? Luzon?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what was going on at that time, during that, invasion.
What was going on?
Yeah, like what did that invasion look like that you were part of?
Well, I left Hawaii, and we was 43 days getting from Hawaii to Luzon on an LST, big barge type deal. And when we got there, they let that barge thing down. We got off and all hell broke loose. So after that, I done what I was supposed to do, and what other was going on, I paid no attention to it. I took care of what I was supposed to be doing, period.
So your role, you'd be a medic during the invasion. When people would call for medics, you were there to help them right there?
They brought it to us. You know, we was in a hospital ship platoon. We took care of them. We've got them all enough to load the boat to come back to the United States. We load them up, and we took care of them coming back to the United States. Period. Okay?
Do you remember VE Day?
Do
Do you remember Victory over Europe Day and when it happened and where you were at?
I don't know.
How about Victory in Japan? Do you remember when the war?
Yeah, but that's just past tense, and I like to forget it. Anything to do with Japan, don't talk to me about that.
Do you have any, so with Memoirs of World War II, we want to archive these, grab a Kleenex for your nose, I just want to, yeah, just put it right here. Right on the top. Yeah, there you go. So what we want to do is archive these stories for younger generations, so that they, kind of like life lessons. Are there any lessons for today's generation that you would like to give?
Just get one heck of a good education and do what you're told to do and do your job right. Period.
I like that. You're a matter-of-fact kind of guy.
That's right. Ask them.
Are these your children?
Yes, ma'am. My daughter and my grandkids is not here, though, in here. They're outside someplace.
They seem very proud of you.
Yes.
You do. Are there any, stories maybe you guys want me to ask in addition?
How long was he in the Philippines? Why, how long he was on another operation?
Okay. How long were you in the Philippines?
Long enough to get enough patients to bring them back to the United States.
And then there was an additional operation that you were a part of? There was another operation that you were a part of?
Luzon?
Do you remember this one?
You had?
Oh, Luzon?
Yeah.
Luzon? The,
Well, I was in Guadalcanal too, you know, taking patients off of Guadalcanal.
Did the same thing.
You name an island out there, I was there, taking patients, bringing them back to the United States. I crossed that Pacific Ocean about 5 times, getting patients off of islands and stuff. My unit was the hospital unit I was with. There was 2 officers and 15 enlisted men. And I'll tell you, my commanding officer was a hell of a nice guy. He taught me a lot about taking care of patients and stuff because he was an orthopedic surgeon out of Walla Walla, Washington. Why? Let's get this thing over with.
What was his name?
do you remember his name?
Who?
Your-
Leslie E. Hildebrand.
Do you remember your, the officer's name?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it was Leslie as well?
That's
Leslie E. Hildebrand.
Okay.
You couldn't have asked for a better officer.
I just have one more question. Do you remember the time that it took to get from the islands back to America? When you were taking patients across the Pacific?
It didn't take us too awful long, because we were, when we, the one we came back from the Philippines on was a hospital ship. And that's when we had a lot of patients on there. So it didn't take us long.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, so we're here with the Eisenhower Foundation, and we just want to know, so I understand you served in the South Pacific, but during your time in the military, did you have any thoughts about Eisenhower?
Can you step up closer? He's got
Yes, sir.
earpiece.
Okay, yeah.
Speak softly.
What were your thoughts about Eisenhower?
Well, I know he was a damn good commander over in his thing, but you know, we had our duties to do. We concentrated on what we were supposed to do, and other people take care of their business, and we took care of ours. Period.
What did you think about him as a president after the war?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. That's the reason I come up here and visit his museum every October, the second week in October, and get your stars. I've done that for good many years.
That's great. Could you tell us just a little bit more about your involvement with the VFW and Eisenhower's vigils? I think it would be great to hear a little bit about that.
Well, I've been up here with rain and everything else, you know, and it was just, the state of Kansas with the VFW had 9 districts. And we done it, the first district by membership, ever who had the greatest membership in the 9 districts was number 1. And they got the best time. You know, it was from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 4 o'clock the next morning. You know, and you stood for, if you got so many people there, or comrades there, then we'd figure out the time what we had to do. Sometimes you'd stand for a minute, sometimes you'd stand for 3 minutes. We got all lined up. We go in and salute his grave. We turn around and go stand by the American flag for that length of time. Then we'd go out. They present us with these stars, and we were done.
That's great. It's really great. Are there any thoughts that you or other VFW members have about Eisenhower, you know, as a leader, his character, and, you know, what his legacy is?
Well, he was a great man, a great man, a great president.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.